Go live. Yeah, I was trying to, as I listened to a bunch of the sessions, there were a few little sound bites, nuggets of them that I was like, I put the YouTube link and the timestamp so that we can pull some and create some sort of little highlights thing. Okay. Zoom says we're live streaming, but my browser does not say it yet. So we'll keep waiting. There we go. Sweet, we're on. Well, hello, and welcome to the official debrief of the Age of Conversation Summit. Oh my God, 6 weeks are done. Congratulations. Round of applause. Seal of approval. Art. Champions, all of the above. Y'all are amazing. What did you think?
Thank you for helping us and getting us to this place. That's what I think. I think it was a phenomenal experience, and I'm just so grateful to have been part of it. So that's my overarching answer.
Well, I didn't do anything. I just had an idea. You guys did all the work.
I was going to say a thank you to everybody on this team. It's been such an amazing collaborative effort. And in addition to what I've learned from what I've done, I've learned from watching what each of you have done. So yeah, it's been a really great experience. So thank you to everybody.
I've made so many new good friends that it's just, you know, they say virtual events can't create connection, but they lie.
Ditto, I echo all those sentiments. Thank you guys so much. And I can't believe it's over. So I've been trying to figure out like what's next. So if anybody wants to do something.
I do. Me.
Give me a call.
Did anybody respond to your need to co-host?
Oh, no, not yet. So hopefully we will have someone.
I'd love to if you get into a lurch.
Yeah, I would love you to be, if you can be on at noon Eastern on October 5th, that's when I need a co-host.
Cool. Sounds fun.
Okay.
What are you doing, Gary?
Was that Heidi?
Yes.
Heidi, I host a show every Monday called Events from Black to White, and we kind of dissect equality in the events sector and events community. And we have a 30-minute discussion with my co-host, Derek Johnson. And every few weeks, I try to rotate myself out and put other voices in. So Courtney Stanley was on today. I'm sure all of you guys saw and love Courtney from the conference. She's amazing, and she did a great chat with Derek about empathy and racism today, and it was awesome. So if you weren't there, you can always watch it. But Liz, I'd love to have you replace me and get in on the discussion. And if anyone else wants in, let me know and I'll slot you in.
That's so good. So good. Well, let me run you guys through what the Kiko chat page looks like now, in case you haven't been over there. I think we got all of the on-demand content. There were only, out of everything we did, only 2 had recording issues, I think. So phenomenal job by everybody getting things up there. It's all raw footage, so I didn't clip off the beginnings or ends or anything like that. Eventually, maybe I can get in there and do that. But for now, I created just kind of a main welcome page. I don't know how long Gary's going to keep the arcade live, but for now it's still there. And then Lucas, for you, I don't know how long the spatial chat should still be live. So once he gets off the phone, then we can figure that one out. But I changed the session guide by collapsing down all the second rooms. And so when you click on that, you now see everything in single tracks. And then I've got the link to the Google Notes atop every one of the options. And now when you click into one of the session rooms, you see all the sessions that were in that full track. If you click on demand, you've got all of the recordings.
Awesome.
That's a lot of work, Liz. That's amazing.
And then when you click on main session notes, we consolidated the notes. And I think I saw, Corinne, you said that there's just a few left to go on a couple of them. All the notes are here. And so it's like that all the way through. Because I got so super crazy excited about the content and thinking about the personas of people that were in here, I created some new tracks. So like for corporate, I need to rename that, corporate and association people, I just gathered the top 11 sessions that I thought were right for corporate and association event professionals. So Jen Artura's was phenomenal. Derek's was great. A lot about ROI. Those were good. And then I did the same thing for people in hospitality and weddings industry. So I think we ended up with like 6 of the top sessions here that were about catering or weddings or like what's next in setting and prepping your AV when you're doing hybrid events. So those were cool. Ditto for career development and job hunting, grabbed all the ones that were relevant for personal development in there. And then for new businesses, did one for startups and solopreneurs and entrepreneurs. I think there's 10 or 11 sessions there. And then the one I just finished doing was virtual engagement ideas. So all those people that donated their time that are show people, you know, I put all of them in here with their links. So if you're looking for virtual engagement ideas to add to your event, here are all the ones and how you can get in touch with them.
Awesome.
That's cool.
So from a partner standpoint, if there's anyone else we need to add to, I couldn't remember, Erica, the people that did like the in-person stuff. If I needed to do something special for them, I can add them to the engagement page.
I can, I'll send you that, Liz.
Oh, hey, welcome. Awesome. So after we finish the ebooks, I would say another 24 hours or so, we'll have all the notes in there and it'll all be ready. So right now they're page by page, but what I'm going to do is take that and like put them into one big book. And then what we all need to do is finish up our feedback and takeaways from it. So let me go back to screen sharing that and let's do our retrospective by filling out some of these things. If you're on the Kiko Chat page right now, then you should see the embedded Google Doc. Looks something like this. And we can all get in here and type at the same time. So if you just want to get in and tell me what is one thing you personally loved about the event experience, not planning it, but the actual day of.
You want us to answer as an attendee or as part of the planning team?
I think as an attendee for this one.
Okay.
The sessions you were able to go to, even if you were working it, but you were, you know, in a session or saw how people reacted to things. It's cool. I've never
Like
actually
a race.
20 people typing at the same time.
Like a race. I want to just get in here.
Do you have the link to it? Do you need it?
I'm cracking up. No, I'm good. I'm just like laughing, looking at everybody typing. I feel like I'm watching an arcade game.
It's giving me a little OCD anxiety.
I love it. It looks like what happens in my head all day.
With 20 tabs open all over. I can't
Heidi,
believe
one of my favorite parts was listening to you. Just anytime you came on, you were just so happy, laughing and open, and people just loved it.
By the way, as I was going back through and watching the session, seeing each of the different room parents and how they entered the room, I was making notes on, oh my gosh, this person is someone I should hire to come help and be part of the breakouts when we do them and all this. So I want to find some way to like get those groups of people and make sure if that's what they want to get hired for, we have this list of people.
Oh yeah.
I think it's a great
like
idea.
a bio that they could send in, like a video interview.
We should all have our resumes on here,
Yeah.
right? Because like if we're all doing things and need people on our team, we can find each other that way.
Well, that was kind of my next. So Denise had started creating a yearbook that was going to have all the speakers in it, and it looked really good. And then we ended up with like 7,000 speakers. And so I was trying to figure out how to make that more manageable. But then the thought came to me of, well, instead of just the speaker yearbook, is there some way to make it like a participant directory where we can get a hold of it? I don't want to go create some other online community no one will use again. But if you have any ideas on how we could make that useful for people, let me know. This is really fun to watch.
Okay, I'm on my iPad, so I can't get in there, but I just moved to a computer and I'm not sure where this page is.
Here, I'll give you the direct link to the Google Doc. And
Okay.
that. There you go.
Thank you.
Liz, there is a guy that I follow, and he has a document that it's for tech startups that are hiring, and he updates the document every month. So it's a Google Doc that he has shared, and then he just updates it I think it might even be weekly now. He updates it regularly. So you get the live updates every time that somebody updates it. I'm wondering if that would be a way that we could do the directory. We could kind of just have everybody fill in, maybe they have their own little section and they just update it themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And then whoever has access to it automatically can see any updates.
Yeah. I also wonder, I mean, is it even necessary? Is it just something I'm thinking of that's crazy and more work? Do people want to connect? Are there enough places for them to connect? I'll have to say the one key takeaway, there was one of the sessions that was just a talkie session. And one of the girls came on and said that she does work that's like overflow for agencies. And since March, there has been no overflow from any agency. And she's literally not worked at all since March. And most of her conversations that weren't with home people were with project people, and having no project, she had no conversations to have. And so how lonely and isolating that was. And she's like, no groups have gotten together to do happy hours or conversations or anything. So this event was actually the first time she'd really talked to people since March. And I was like, oh my God, that's mind blowing. How do we take that and find the people that need that and go forth? And I was like, just get in the Slack channel and throw up the bat signal and we'll all create an event.
There's a great, my personal coach uses Mighty Networks. And I know it's a paid service, but I actually have a couple of different people that I follow that use Mighty Networks. Podcast Movement uses it for their regular challenge. And it's a pretty cool spot because they can post their stream of things, and then you can have, side chats in your own little group of people. So that's kind of a cool software. That might be something that, I don't know, somebody can take on a fun project of creating a place where people in the industry can come together and chat just because they're lonely, or, chat about different ideas or something.
I looked into a bunch of those communities. Mighty Networks is a really good one. I like that one a lot. Nicole and I went on a whole big whirlwind.
Yeah, there's got to be something there. Event people, when we're not around people, even virtually, we don't know what to do with ourselves. Right. And I noticed that especially on LinkedIn the past couple weeks, like people are just clamoring for connection still.
Well, if any of you want at 5 o'clock Eastern time today, I have a networking group I run. You're all welcome to join. There's no charge. We meet every other week, and it's event industry people. That's all it is. We happen to all do bar and bat mitzvahs. That's how we connected, but half the people on there don't. So it's been great. So
please do share the link, Heidi.
Where do I share it? I'm like all over the place in the chat.
Yep.
Yeah, I'd say Zoom chat.
Okay.
Perfect.
I just found the chat. So now I got to find my email underneath all here and I'll get you guys.
Liz, I think that's a really interesting conversation about how to sustain the connections. We see that there are a bunch of Slack communities that already exist.
Yeah.
I think another separate conversation is what's working and what isn't with Slack communities. And could we complement what's already there with one of you call them like the unconferences that you throw? I think that could be a perfect way, like a 3-hour unconference, 90-minute unconference. I think there's something there for in-depth conversation with minimal planning.
Well, that's what I wonder, the idea of asynchronous communication versus doing it at a moment in time where it's live and people are actually talking. So you've got Slack, which is going on all the time. And then if you don't check it for 2 days, like 72 conversations have happened and you missed them all. And then
there's the way, no, but you get the updates.
Oh, I know, I get them.
I bet you do.
From all 7 Slack channels I'm in, I get them. And then, I'm part of 3 Facebook groups and 12 LinkedIn groups, and I haven't seen anyone active on any of the LinkedIn ones in a long time. And then on the Facebook ones, people are finally coming back up and asking questions about real things on Facebook. For a while there, it was just salespeople. And then it's when we do our events, so Nicole and I, we've been doing them about once a month, and we get, what would you say, 50, 60 people that show up to us?
Yeah.
And again, in a universe that probably has 30 or 40,000 people that could show up, I don't know if that's They're not. And why aren't they? Is it because they're busy? That's the problem with us event people, where we overschedule ourselves on purpose.
Mhm.
And do we really need a whole nother online community? Meh.
I think we need more meaningful ways to connect in existing online communities.
Yeah.
Because I'm part of a few of the event professional Slack communities, but I think it's a little bit of a slow simmer of activity, and often not the critical mass you need to quickly solve a quick problem that 10 people have.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
where
drip,
do you
drip,
go
drip.
for that to solve the quick problem?
I think you need it with a community rhythm that is a weekly, bi-weekly, or monthly. Everyone knows that they can't attend, and it's okay if they miss, but it's a happy hour every third Thursday. And it's not just a Zoom call, you pair it with a Google Doc. You could do it on Kiko or not, but you come to solve problems. It's like how Nicole and Liz run their unconferences. I've seen their technique is pretty awesome. People come with, I've got a solution to share or I've got a problem to share. And then there's matchmaking. They've got a very innovative technique to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, we had talked about doing either a podcast or doing the weekly hot topics, HAUTE, of course, of something where you bring it in and you just solve that problem once a week. And it's not a big 3-hour thing. It's okay, we got 1 hour, bring your problem and everybody jump in and try to solve it. And could that be a thing?
You know, what's interesting though, is when we do our think tanks, there's a lot of people that, for example, have come to the in-person ones that are like, nope, that's good. Like once you've been to in-person, they didn't want to do this one. But there's a lot of new people that will come once to the think tank. But if it's more of an experience like Unrestricted Hotness, there's people that come every single week on Friday. So it's interesting to see the split of people that are looking for information, and then people that just want to do something fun that I don't want to say has no point, but just wants to like, I don't know, like this is crazy. There's not really like, there's not a learning going on. And so they just can relax and be a part of something that they might have never been able to do before. There's a lot of interest in that. So it's interesting is, do we dissect the two? We kind of do already. Yeah.
The brain break versus the problem solving. Maybe it is. I mean, those are just two paths, right?
Yeah.
Well, that for me, the unrestricted hotness is like traveling, because there's that really intersection too of most event planners love to travel. So I think you found that dissection between the two, and that of like, I just miss traveling, and that's why I do your unrestricted hotnesses. So
yeah,
I couldn't get on Friday.
We didn't get one this Friday.
You did?
Oh yeah.
Is that why I couldn't get on?
That would be why you couldn't get on.
I wasn't in my calendar. Never go to any of them.
No, because we had the Monday night one or Tuesday night one with the whole event on Wednesday. It was just to drive people to a whole nother event. We thought
yesterday I attended
on Friday.
Yesterday I attended a board meeting and they said, do you want to hop on the car with us or something? And I went, I've been on a moped through Pawtuck. I can get on your car. You know, like it's an impressed. That was impressive. That was really good.
Okay, critical mass here. This looks amazing. Any specific ones you want to call out about one thing you personally loved about the event experience?
I can go.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I just love watching, you know, this was definitely meaning everybody on this call, you know, event, which was so cool. And just to see the evolution that was like this, like, oh, this feels weird. Oh, we're doing it. Oh, actually, no. Oh, yeah, actually, we're doing it. No. And so just the evolution of the emotional roller coaster that is all events for sure. But I think in the end is to really come together, and it does feel like a family, right? This does feel like we're one, you know, oneness or, you know, community, company, whatever it is. And that was just really cool. And I'm so proud of you guys. I feel like it was really nice to just give people a floor to do, you know, it felt good to us is to just see, you know, I don't know, let's see what they do with it and that kind of thing. And just even Carrie, I was blown away just the amount of people that you know, and just how many, you know, things that came in. Desiree, you're so organized. Oh my God. Like, so, you know, so it's just, everybody had so many strengths. Jen, I learned so much about social media. Heidi, you made me laugh. Lucas, you're the cutest person ever. And like, I just, we could go on with everybody, but just getting to know all of you like that and seeing you in a cool opportunity where there's really no rules essentially was really nice for me.
I love the room parents. I thought that it made the event. I've never seen an event that had anything like what we created, that in every single room, there was always somebody to say hi and to make you feel welcome. And some room parents were better than others at starting their recordings and getting the sound working and all that, but that's what this was about. This was everybody getting an opportunity to try it and understanding that we're all figuring these things out while still delivering incredible content. And I just thought every single room felt like someone else put in here, just relaxed and welcoming. And that was exactly what we like to do with our in-person events. And I was so thrilled to see that it finally came across in a virtual one.
I agree. I think the room parents did an amazing job, not just of the technical piece and, rehearsing the speakers and starting the record and monitoring chat, but yeah, really owning the conversations and getting the chats going. I think they all did an incredible job. Couldn't agree more.
I agree.
And I feel like as a room parent, I had no idea what I was signing up for.
Well, you did great. And they gave you the big room.
It was fun. I mean, I think the night that we were doing it and you, Kate, were like, you're going to come on and you're going to talk. And I'm like, where's the script? Like, I need words. And you had written us some beautiful things. I really appreciate it. I'm sitting here studying it. But yet it was like, make it your own. I think that was my favorite part of what you guys gave us, was the gift to be able to do that, to make something your own and yet be part of a huge, like, everybody was important. Everybody. I felt like the speakers, like, respected room parents. They thought it was cool. We respected those that came before us to set up everything.
Yeah.
And for me, I was talking to Liz earlier today, like, I have my own business and I've never been part of a big team like this other than like volunteering for my NACE stuff, I guess. And I just felt like, for not knowing anyone when I walked in, not knowing what we were going to be tasked with, we all got along great and like knocked it out of the park. I was just so impressed to watch it happen.
Yeah. So good. Okay, so looking through what's your one key learning from your work stream that you'll take with you as you produce other events? And you want to read one of theirs out? Oh, here's my favorite, saying yes. Why the heck not? Oh, that's a Nicole one. She does that all the time. Trying to
Still my favorite.
I'm gonna, I don't think I wrote this one. I think I just +1'd it, but speaker room monitors and rehearsals are imperative for success. I think, the other virtual events I've seen, if I haven't run, everybody's like, oh, I know how to do Zoom. And I think that the tech rehearsals were so important to make sure that the room parents and the speakers not just figured out the, technical piece of Zoom, but how could we get them seamlessly back into Kiko to get into Central Perk? Yeah. How could we make sure that we're also reiterating again, like, we're here to drive conversation. How are you doing that? How can I support you as a room parent? So those to me were critical, and I think an often overlooked step in virtual meetings if you want it to be something different. So I think that's a huge learning.
Yeah, and like to Heidi's point, I love the script that you guys came up with so that every room parent had a structure and a checklist and a script to follow, but then they could insert their personality into it. And I thought that was really cool to make it feel like their own. And then for this event in particular, this was kind of a training event for everyone to get trained so they could now go be comfortable going off in their own world and doing their own thing, just knowing a structure or a framework to use.
Kate, in addition to that, listening to these sessions and just helping out yesterday and today with the notes, probably at least three or four of the speakers, when they're talking about their content, they thanked the age of conversation in doing those rehearsals and those tech rehearsals. And they said they set it up really nice so that we could give you the best experience, and it was easy. So it was neat to see them, going back to the beginning of, they do this a lot, but not everyone, like you said, probably does it.
Oh, that's awesome. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
So good. Okay, so now your advice for another work stream that you didn't work on, but that you saw somewhere else. What do you see that could have been beneficial?
Actually, I'm going back to the first one,
Uh-huh.
although I put it in this one now that I'm seeing. But the more transparency and just having those defined roles in the beginning, and this was in my work stream as well, but just having those things defined up front, who was doing what the process was going to be, where the approvals were, and I mean, goodness gracious, just more time.
Sure.
Yeah.
We definitely
I
all
don't-
felt that if we had 2 more weeks, just 2 more weeks.
Yeah. I mean, I really think that we probably could have hit our attendance goals if we'd had another couple of weeks. The ads didn't really have a whole lot of time to do their thing or to optimize. In fact, we really had no time to optimize the ads. So, but yeah, just more defined rules that would have made the marketing easier even from the beginning. And I know, I think I put in here and then someone put in here something about communication channels. Those were a little overwhelming.
Oh yeah, Slack and all that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I would love to know, what have you seen at other events to how you manage a virtual team like this to keep things moving? Have you found other tools you're using besides?
I mean, personally, we have smaller teams.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure how much help. Anybody else?
I think that Slack would work. It just needed more, we needed more training, because by the end I was getting how to use it and how to use it effectively, but I didn't know how to use it in the beginning. And I think we needed more rules on where things went, because things were going everywhere. And so you had no idea where to find it in Slack a day later.
Yeah.
I think what helped us is the session admin channel was locked. So until you were a confirmed volunteer with us, then you got added to that channel. And I think it kept that conversation really about what we were trying to do. And I think there was a benefit to having a locked channel.
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah, that's true. It was good though. I mean, I have to say, I thank you for permitting all the other ones to not be locked so people could kind of get in there and see how crazy it was. But yes, absolutely having one that's like, okay, this is real business now. Maybe we can unlock it now that thing's over, but I don't even think you can get access to old stuff once you do that, but it was a good plan. Okay, and then your most memorable moment during the whole planning process. Any favorite moments? Good, bad, ugly, crying, happy?
Crying.
I
Facebook.
think watching your and Nicole's daughters cook while you guys had your cocktails was the most hilarious part of the day.
Yeah.
Your daughter eating all the cheese.
Yeah. Yeah, Nicole's daughter was very excited because someone had commented that she should be on TV or something. So she's like, is she still talking about that, Nicole?
Yeah, now I have to like look for an agent or something because watch out. Okay. She's famous. She's discovered now, she says, and there's that.
Oh my God. Her attitude is amazing. Like she was working the camera and she was so awesome. I'm in love, like seriously in love with her.
She gets that from Liz.
London? No, she gets that from you.
I know.
Yeah, I was rewatching the other one to get something out of the cheftorial thing, and Veronica walked in. She was like, "Is that me?" And then she's like, she stopped. She's like, "Let it play a little longer, Mom." Very proud. That's hilarious.
I thought what was really cool too was seeing even in, I mean, obviously I was just where I was, but bringing somebody like Marcus, that was just like, Marco, sorry, from the salon. Like,
Marco
he's like, yeah, he's like, I would have never, ever like considered an event. So it's almost just like helping other industries, other professions. I mean, find a place within events. Like right now, events are open to everybody, right? We're just looking for things that are cool, and like hair people are cool, you know? So it's really cool to see his evolution of, so what is this? Great, I'm down. And that helps me even just think of how cool would it be? Maybe I don't know how to do this, but if we did an event with no event people, like they just came in and they were all just experiencing this with absolutely no idea what they're doing as far as just coming in and being involved in something or leading a session, or I don't know, that was just really cool. And I was even thinking, what other kind of things are there? I was thinking back to a sport I used to play, and I was able to just take that idea and just pitch it to another cool experience that we could have. And so it's just, for me, that opened my mind, because sometimes we always think about events for us, an event for event people, and then the attendees, but what about people that can come in and be an event person? That's really cool to me.
Yeah, there was, I mean, again, kudos to the content teams that reached out and brought in some incredible people that were just outside of my comfort zone. I mean, I never would have done tarot card readings, even though I pitched it to clients before. No one ever said yes, so I never got to do it. But now, now I can be like, look, Kat Larson can do this for you too at your events. It's so awesome. And Marco,
I did yoga.
Did you do your yoga with
Yeah,
wine?
I did yoga in a class, and I don't ever do yoga. I did.
That's so cool.
That's not something I would have ever considered doing at an event of any kind. Like that's not my thing. But you know, I forget who the room parent was, but she's like, "We need somebody in here," and I was like, "Okay." So I'm on screen. I turned on the video and did yoga, and well, I had water, but you know, pretended it was wine.
So good. Okay, so now your advice on the next steps, because what I would like to do with the ebook is for us to gather up like best practices from planning this. So this is phenomenal feedback and we can take it, but do y'all have any thoughts on how someone who's either new or novice to coming into doing their own virtual event, how could we organize a best practices document? Like step 1, pick your date. But that's not, I'm not looking for that kind of thing, you know?
I actually did a document like that over the weekend.
Okay.
And I did it by teams.
Mm-hmm.
So that was going to be my suggestion to break
I
it
started
up in steps, but by categories or teams.
Yeah, I started sort of at the top with the why and the goals, and that everyone should always go back to that when they're doing their part.
I think that was the thing that was missing, is the wrong word, but it probably would have been easier for me if I really loved what we did at the very, very, very beginning, where all of us kind of dumped in what we wanted at the end of 6 weeks. I loved that, but we never really came back to that. We never, that never was a guiding force. It was just like a brain dump. So having the official, like, okay, here's our mission statement, for example. I mean, not to be that literal, but here's our goal at the end of 6 weeks, you know.
Well, let's see how we did with that, because that's an interesting point. So here's why we wanted to do it. We wanted to help you navigate what's missing when human connection is limited. I feel like that was pretty solidly successful. We wanted to create 3D connections in a 2D world. There were a lot of people that told me they actually met people they're going to go continue on with. We wanted to develop lessons learned, which is our process now. How do you collaborate? How do you become a team? How do you create something amazing? And a career incubator. So I think we did those in the process, obviously, of making the document. Obviously, we did our 5 C's of Hot Dokimazo. There's our pitch target. Well, we hit 500, but remember, this is going to be open for 30 more days for people to come in and get access to the on-demand content, which is why I think that ebook is going to be so valuable, because now you don't have to actually go listen to 100 hours of content. You can go through the ebook, see the notes, and see if that's a session you really want to go back and see. And that's worth 20 bucks, I think. So if we can, Jennifer, if you can help me figure out how we go do some Facebook ads driving to that and repurposing this as on demand, we can probably still hit that.
Are you charging for that?
Yeah, that's the same $20.
Well, and I think too, how you broke things down earlier, I mean, I know this is kind of off topic, but when you broke them down into the different audiences earlier, you know, we can continue that on those ads and that targeting.
Perfect.
So here's a question. If we had 500 people, what was our engagement, like our top engagement at any given time? Do we know that?
Yes. Well, on social. So
There's a spreadsheet.
There is, and I'm looking for it. I
You
know I
mean
had it
in
up.
the event, Liza?
Here it is.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Do you mean during the event?
Yeah, during the event. So what was our peak time? Was it like 1 o'clock and we had 350 of the 500 people spread out across the sessions? Like, I just wondering what our stats are.
So
Here's
this
the
Lucas, I
magical
think,
Here they
put
are.
this in. I don't quite know how to read this, but I don't know if this was total number of people logged in at moments in time. And I guess that's how you would read that.
I think
Yep.
it'll be people
Personal-
that had the page open, whether they were on Zoom or not on Zoom. And they might be multitasking, doing something else, but still have the page open.
Yeah. Not bad.
well,
Yeah, great.
then we had a whole nother thing with engagement on social that was insane.
Oh yeah. Oh, how do we see the social metrics?
Do you want me to share my screen?
Sure. And then we'll come back to this one.
Okay. So, here was our cross network engagement.
Ooh, look at that.
This big spike here, like, so I mean, so what I did is I broke out when we started, which was August the 17th when we started social. And our total engagements were almost 4,000 across those channels during that time. And you can see from this peak that most of that came, like on the 9th, we had 451 engagements. And so the hot Documelzo linked, Instagram was on my phone. And so like people were constantly tagging HD, the speakers, different attendees. They were doing all of this. I was constantly adding those to the story, to the point that I finally had to stop adding them to the story because our little tick marks at the top was like a little overwhelming. And started just trying to like their mentions. But yeah, I mean, the speakers, the attendees did such a great job of engaging with us through our social profiles. We lit it up on the 9th with 451. That's just insane. We still had 441 on the 8th. But even before the event, I mean, like, this is a lot in one day, considering the size of the attendees and everything, 205. On the 10th, we had 175. We had a big push here. You can see some of those numbers broken down. But yeah, I mean, really a lot. And then if you go up to our growth, the audience growth. So 235 people were added in less than a month, 30 on Twitter, 25 on Facebook, 111 on Instagram, and 90.
This means I have to start using Twitter again, doesn't it?
It does.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'll be honest, Twitter is my stepchild, except for one client. I'm just like, I'm not on it personally that much. It is my stepchild. And so, so I did much better here and usually on most things on Instagram and LinkedIn because I use them personally. So those probably would have been better if I had been more engaged.
I know, Jennifer, you said, yeah, it would have been great to have another 2 weeks to let, to re-optimize and everything else, but how do we think Labor Day affected the event? I'm curious. Anyone's on that?
It
Yeah,
affects our ads.
personally, when we picked the 9th, it didn't even occur to me that people had holidays.
I know it for tech rehearsals too, knowing those are last minute, and then it wasn't on our radar either until we're trying to schedule last minute techs and it's Labor Day Monday and it's like,
Yeah.
oh shoot, we're asking.
Oh crap.
That's when I had a couple of European ones then, so it wasn't so bad, but I'm just curious from anyone else's perspective.
Yeah, more time.
More time. No, but that's pretty awesome. And I was just looking at our YouTube metrics. We had put in, one of our goals was to try to get 200 YouTube subscribers. We made it up to 155, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Then I'll throw up the little, and of course we're driving all the videos to be on YouTube, but here's what that one's looking like. So 2,600 views. We added 50 subscribers in the last month, which is phenomenal. Cool stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get back to what we said originally we wanted to accomplish. So we're powering through these. It's pretty good. This came from that brainstorm. So Erica originally stretch goal, obviously. So these are things to still work on. 5 never before done experiences. Did we do that? I don't know if we hit 5. Well, the ebook I think has never before been done, where participants pitched into that one. I would say pulling off an event of this magnitude with all of the things and all of the people all coming from everywhere, having never met each other, has to be a never before done virtually.
I think the diversity of content has got to be it as well. Anything from career to yoga. I mean, it was just crazy.
Yep. Agreed. Nicole's never dyed her hair live on the internet before.
That was awesome.
So the question was, Nicole, do you like your hair color?
Yeah. No, my actual stylist gave me the color. She's like, she found out about it. She's like, I saw on Facebook that you're dyeing your hair. And she goes, if you use box color, you cannot come back. She goes, you have to come in. I'll give you the colors. Then you do it yourself. Done.
Magazine
I gotta
cover.
say though, you and Marco seemed like you had known each other for years. You were just amazing together.
It was great chemistry between them, wasn't it?
Elephant mud bath. Yeah.
Oh, a good point. First ever elephant mud bath on Zoom, and first ever riding on a moped through downtown Phuket.
That was the best. That was my favorite. I love the elephants, but riding on the moped, and we were so nervous that she was driving.
Yes.
That was the best.
What about the delivery? There was that basket delivery.
Oh yeah.
So fun.
Yeah, that was good. So we need someone to get us on a cover of a magazine. So that's still to do. I think Smart Meetings is releasing a story tomorrow about us, but I don't know that it'll be a magazine cover, but it's at least a story.
Awesome.
I would love to figure out how we can get an answer to if there were career connections made and how that works out. Any feedback from Kelsey that did the resume reviews?
So we actually had 3 different people doing resume reviews.
Oh, okay.
And Kelsey's the one that I didn't connect with afterwards, but the other 2, Tammy and Andrea, both told me that they were so thankful to be able to be part of the process. They loved it. Tammy did say that some people needed a lot of help, so she was happy to be able to help out some people. I don't know about the career connections part specifically, but I do know that that room worked. Having people, we had one little glitch because 2 of the people, Andrea and Kelsey, were back to back, and so Andrea needed to sign out as the host before Kelsey could get in there and be the host. So there was a little bit of a hiccup, but it was solved fairly quickly, and then we moved on well. So that was a great. I mean, everybody who was part of that they were so thankful to be able to be part of it. So both the participants and the reviewers.
That's fulfilling. That's awesome.
Can you put something on the your LinkedIn page or something with some of the graphics still, so it'll trigger people that, oh, I met this potential partner, colleague, job opportunity, and this is where I got it from?
Yeah, that's a good idea. Just do a call out to see who did what.
Yeah, I mean, because there's so much, I'm sure people are still digesting, right?
Right. Yeah. Cool. Well, okay, so those were some of the originals. Now let me pull up, I'll grab that mural board that we started with just for fun and see if we did any of those crazy ideas we came up with.
And Melissa, just a side note, that Dan that you had a session with, Dan, he was so good. Like I ordered his book just after watching it yesterday.
I couldn't watch it, so I don't know. Was it okay?
Oh, you were great. It's like
I haven't watched that one yet. I got to go back and see it.
You had your own Yeah, at first I was like, okay, he's a little quirky, so I'm like, just let me write it out. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so good. And then I'm like writing down the book and I'm looking it up on who can deliver it in a couple days. And yeah, it was really good. You did a great job.
Oh, thanks.
Okay,
That was
so
definitely a comfort zone.
here was our original brainstorming of crazy ideas. So let's look down at the experiments and see what we did. There was I did it, you can do it too. I think we accomplished that vibe.
Yeah.
Let's see, zoom in here. Learning how to network successfully in virtual. We had lots of conversations around that one for sure. We did signing up for mini coaching sessions. We did a recruiter to come in and talk about that. Robert's session was awesome. We did resume reviews. We didn't have live improv, but we did have a live comedian and a magician. That was
and
awesome.
The songwriting.
And song division was phenomenal.
They were so spectacular. That session
so
was
good.
amazing.
We did the whole behind the scenes thing. Time capsule. Anybody remember who wrote that and what that meant? Was that just marking our experiment along the way? Because if so, we did that.
Yeah.
Live DJ. Did we end up with a DJ in any room? Oh, we did. The caricature chick had a live DJ.
Yep.
She was awesome too.
That was cool.
We blew up our social.
We definitely, well, in more than one way. Well, I don't know. Do you see anything here where we met? We did some pretty good stuff here.
We did some of the behind the scenes, the duct tape diaries, a little bit of that, the spirit of that. That was really cool. I love Melissa's video. That was so funny.
Oh yes, your video was amazing. Your son was phenomenal.
I think Liz, just to clarify and just to say it out loud, like I 100%, 1,000% believe that we did the things that we had.
We just didn't use it to check back in along the path.
But we didn't use it as like a weekly touchstone.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's what I meant. Like we never came back to it. So it got in the document, but we never really referenced the document.
Yeah.
As a touchstone. That's what I meant by that. Not that we didn't accomplish what we set out to accomplish, more that it wasn't a touchstone.
Hey, I like this idea right here. I mentioned that I've started to timestamp some things. So as you're watching sessions, if you see any ridiculous moments, I think a blooper reel, sizzle reel for this event would be phenomenal.
I can just record, you can't say learn how to make a bomb event.
You guys all heard what happened with our Facebook ads account, right? So apparently using the word BOMB in your ad text gets you shut down.
I can just do that. If you take what I said out of context, learn how to make a bomb event. So how to make a bomb.
Oops.
You know what's crazy though is when Liz told me, we were both like, that's crazy. But I mean, in what other world would something like that have been like totally like, whoops, look, good to know. I think that's really cool too, because we always say like, this is the place that it's okay for whatever to happen. And that's truly it.
And, in no corporate setting are you talking about like 80s and, oh, this is rad or bomb or that, like you're not trying to like have that vibe. And I was trying to like get into that vibe when I was writing the ads, and holy cow, I would say more things right now. And I did that night. I cried. I was in tears. I mean, like after I figured out that it was me, I was in tears before then. Once we got like shut out, and I was like, I don't have time for this. I had my other contractor on the phone with me in the middle. I mean, like he's on the East Coast, so it was basically in the middle of the night on a Friday night, and I'm just like, And actually, I didn't even tell y'all, I had a whole text conversation with my boyfriend who was going to get dinner, thinking that it was my contractor.
That might be my favorite new takeaway.
And he
How
goes,
long
did your
were we
boyfriend
shut out
respond?
for?
Was he helpful?
How
It
long
was-
was it shut down for?
It's still shut down.
shut down.
Oh, it's still shut down?
Yeah, we can't run any ads off that HD Facebook page.
I ran everything through my account,
Oh my gosh.
my marketing company. So
We've appealed, but due to COVID, it may take 2 to 3 weeks.
Ugh. So Jennifer, was your boyfriend helpful?
well, he was asking clarifying questions, which is why I kept answering his clarifying questions until he finally asked a clarifying question that I was like, what the sorry. And then I'm like, and then I typed, sorry, wrong person.
Did you send it to take out anyway?
He goes, this entire conversation? And I go, yep.
You're like, yeah, I gotta go. Click.
So I started screenshotting the entire conversation and sending it to my contractor, to my guy. And I'm like, help me figure this out. I know that you know, like you're not my employee, but like help me figure this out on a Friday night because you have nothing better to do.
That's fantastic.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
But that's how I figured out it was because he was like, because I at that point I was an emotional mess.
Yeah.
I was in a hurry. It wasn't getting out. I'm trying to do all of these things. We're in Facebook jail all of a sudden. He's like calmly walking me through all the steps. And we're like trying to troubleshoot this entire thing. And then he finally gets to, because this is not me, he goes, well, what was your copy? And I read it to him and he goes, holy cow. And I was, oh shit. How to make a bomb. Wonder why they flagged that.
Best story ever.
It is.
That is so good.
Oh, gracious.
Well, thank you for running the ads on your own business account. I appreciate that. And if we could just keep doing that a little while longer, so just keep invoicing me or give me an invoice and let's get you paid for those things.
Oh,
amazing. Okay, so in the last 5 minutes or so here, any other big takeaways that we should share with the world before we go write them down in a Google Doc?
I want to say I think it's so cool that Lucas was open. Like, I mean, he literally was like, here it is, stab it, punch it, paint it, do whatever. And that is so cool. And you weren't defensive ever when somebody was like, oh, this is whoa over here. But then, oh, this is really cool over here. So, I mean, to come with that spirit, like if we all, I mean, think about it, if the world literally came to the table with that kind of a mindset, like, whoa. So thank you for that. That was just amazing and very commendable. And I learned a lot from that.
And I don't know what you did, but I didn't receive any like freaking out people of stuff going horribly awry from a tech standpoint. So what did you experience, Lucas?
I thought people got in very smoothly. I think I made a mistake about the song division recording. They wanted a certain way that the recording had to be set up. And unfortunately, I set it up right. And then we had another change and I didn't remember that so unfortunately, they didn't get all the recordings that they needed. They wanted gallery view at the same time as presenters. So that was a bit of learning. But from the participants, they all got in and they created their accounts. And you know, some people have spam blocking, can't get the confirmation email, but those were minor and they overcame it. And people came and had a good time and they saw that you created a phenomenal conference center with every room totally decked out. And I think they were just enjoying walking around like a kid in a candy shop.
Yeah, somebody, I don't remember if it was someone on this call, but someone reached out to me and said that they had received some positive feedback just on that experience was really cool. It was really easy to get to the different areas and easy to figure out what was happening, even though there was so much happening at the same time. As long as you kind of click through the rooms, you could find it all. So I
Yeah, I
think it
want
was
to
a really
ditto
great
what Nicole said, because there were a couple room parent calls which Lucas joined, and that's a lot of event planners all on one call. So he was great at, when we needed to, he would say, things are going well. You guys are just overthinking this. And I think event planners need to hear that every now and then. If we plan everything. So for him to then come from the tech side and say, it's going to work, you guys have overplanned this. I think we needed that like feeling sometimes, because you are the virtual guru of that time. So appreciated it.
I'm also not an event planner. And so there was a culture difference between where I'm coming from and where all of you were coming from. And I learned a lot by how great you can make an event by putting in all that planning. The specific types of events that we normally plan here are you put in the rough outline, and then they're colored. The lines are colored in the day of. People say, my session, it's like what Nicole and Liz do with the unconferences. That's most of it. It's just setting up a basic framework rather than bringing in all the speakers. And that was a huge amount of work that you accomplished very well. And I just wanted to support it and see where it was going to go. I thought Liz did a fantastic job designing the event space in a way that no one else had done that before. And I love how you changed it even after the event now, created new rooms for people to get in easily. So I was just enjoying learning myself what the platform needs to do to support people pushing it in these directions. It was very, very rewarding. I appreciate it very much.
So I had a question, actually. When we had the agendas for the rooms, right? And so you'd see at noon was something and 12:30 was something and so on and so forth. Could those session titles be linked so that you could just click on a session title and get in?
You can. It would open in a new tab, and we put in images in there. So you could really only put in one link for the whole image. But if we had more time, we could have made those images like a web page.
Yeah, because at first I kept kind of clicking on it thinking, gee, it's going to take me right into where I want to go. It didn't. Obviously, I very easily got to where I wanted to go, but it's sort of intuitive that, I don't know, might be something to think about.
Absolutely. I'm going to write that one down. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Great. And that was part of why we added an extra tab to join the Zoom link. Instead of just having to go to the top left, it was a tab on every page, so that, because that was one of my early on other people that I was talking to about the platform. It was kind of like, well, they didn't understand that every time you clicked into a new track, that link changed on the top left. And so adding it in there was helpful from a user experience.
Yeah, I thought I was going to be overwhelmed with all the planning because I was a volunteer and like on the back behind you guys. So when I went in on Wednesday after the morning unconference, I went in as a mindset as an attendee, and I was really excited how easy it was to maneuver. Like I would go back and forth like, okay, I have a break here. What time? Let me see what sessions are on that time. Let me go back in here and click. Because I've been to another one in July. This is only my second one as an attendee or attendee's eyes. And it was a lot more complicated. And I thought this might be because I wasn't digesting it all. But once go time happened, I'm like, wow, this is easy. I can click and hop around or leave the room and go to another one. Pretty easy.
Yeah, that's awesome. What do you think, Carrie? Missed opportunity to thank the speakers with a cool guide. What do you mean?
Yeah, I got some feedback that people were there just to see certain people like Courtney or Rachel. It would have been great to have a way to click in and see which sessions they were doing at what time. It also would have been cool to have the yearbook. I think speakers were kind of looking forward to that idea because it would have been a resource to send people to their websites and their socials and just have everything in one place. So I was a little disappointed that we didn't have that beforehand, but I got overall like really amazing feedback from speakers. Nobody was unhappy about anything. So it was just a nice to have.
Yeah, like I said, I still want to do it. If I don't figure out a way to do the directory part, I definitely still want to do it for all the speakers and get their info in there. I tried to keep there was still a tab on the worksheet so you could get everybody's contact info that was speaking, but I know if you didn't really know Google Sheets, then you didn't know to click on that tab and see everything there. That we just had so much that my brain couldn't figure out a way to make it findable easily. I think that's a good point.
Another feature that would have been helpful as far as attendees is when I opened up the agenda, if I could have clicked in the room I was on the agenda, that would have been one easier step, because I kind of felt like I was trying to scroll through the agenda and then figure out what room they were in. So it was kind of like, okay, I want to go here, so I have to come over here, find it, and click.
Yeah.
If we would have been able to have maybe more one clicks. And also at first, a little frustrating was how Zoom felt a little clunky as an attendee. Like it would open up in another window. Sometimes I was in 2 Zoom rooms at the same time. Like I had to physically which I didn't even know could happen.
Yeah.
But I think it's because of the way the rooms were set up, because it opened in a completely different way. Like, so sometimes it opened the Zoom room from my browser, and other times it actually opened the Zoom app on my computer.
Oh, interesting.
So I think that's how sometimes I ended up in 2 Zoom rooms. So that to me as an attendee, that was the only part that felt kind of clunky. And yes, a couple times I closed Zoom, forgetting that I need to pick my next room first, and it closed out the whole event. So there was a couple times that, it was just, but once I got into a flow, I was moving through rooms pretty quickly all day.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But at first it felt just a little clunky.
I would say that of all the virtual event platforms I've been in, this one was there was a lot going on, but it was the simplest interface, because some of the ones where, everybody tries to put everything they can into the events, and there's just so many overwhelming buttons and things to click. And this was at least pretty streamlined of there's stuff in each session, and I go to a session and go to a thing, and it wasn't like, oh, it's a keynote hall versus a breakout hall versus a whatever. So I thought that worked really well.
I think having the agenda right there where each room was super helpful. And then the slide with what was going on in each room was, then I knew exactly what to expect in that room throughout the day.
Yeah.
I think there's some power in combining Carrie's, and is it Liz or Liza? Liz A. Wiley? Liza, your idea of a searchable, clickable, one click gets you in the right spot, but also Carrie saying like search for a particular person, see their profile, see when they're speaking. So search can definitely be improved here, and then one click to just get you to every, I'm taking that away as a great place for us to improve.
That's awesome.
As I did want to say, I felt like the sessions were timed out, like 30 minutes didn't feel too long. And at first I kind of was like, will it feel too long? Will it feel too short? But everything felt timed appropriately in every session that I attended. So I think you hit that right on the head.
Yeah, I would agree with that. It was really good. There were a few that were longer, and they were appropriately longer. Like the conversation went great. I didn't feel like any felt weird. And then the ones that were short, people were very much, we only have 30 minutes. It's going to be perfect. Keep it to this. And they were good. And I was really nervous about the recorded sessions and showing them while having the chat, but those worked really well. That was one of my big takeaways, was that as much as I would like for it to have been all live conversation, some people just aren't comfortable facilitating a conversation like that. They want it to be recorded. They have like with Rachel wanting to do her different her frames and the way she did stuff, like all of that worked out really, really well. And then almost all of the presenters were there to do the Q&A during the session, which I thought was really, really cool. Was a great way to do it.
I think it was a nice break in the information that was being provided, because some of the topics, I don't know how you would necessarily have just a chat around them. So I think having the facilitation and then having the chat after the fact worked out really well. And then some of the speakers, they just, some of the room parents I actually felt really bad for, like they carried the torch in the room, because the speakers were like, okay, here's my stuff. Anyone have any questions? And then so many of the room parents I saw just jump in and start engaging conversation. And there was even a couple times where the room parent was like, okay, well, if we don't have anything else to say, let's go ahead and end the session. And the speaker was like, okay, bye.
Yeah.
But I think it worked out really well having the different types of formats, because there really was, different people learn different ways. Yeah. And I think it was really great to have the different ways that you could participate or choose not to participate.
I agree. The diversity of content and delivery was actually very, very good. Very good. And then my last one, Xing Wang, one of our participants, it has a company called AmpSlide, where he can host the slides and allow people to gain access to them afterwards. And so if you guys could maybe reach out to the speakers and see if any of them would want their slides, because some of them offered to share them with the participants, but there wasn't an easy way to do it. So if any of them want to share their slides with our participants, we have that. He gave it to us free for the event. And
I've already dropped some in the shared folder of people who had emailed me directly after the event saying, here's my slides if you want them. So.
okay, cool. Do we have their permission to go put them in
Yes.
the thing or, okay, awesome.
Yep.
Awesome.
I think that's the biggest takeaway is the culture that was created here. You have participants giving you products to use after the event. You had a team of 11 people working really hard. Nobody ever said no to, no one said, that's not my job. You were like, hey, can you jump on a call? And they did. You have people going into other teams and training on that other team. You had room parents who knew more about Zoom than we did, and they were training each other and they were meeting afterwards. And I think that's the biggest takeaway of all of this is the culture that was created.
So good. Well, I can't thank you enough for all creating that culture because you were all incredible, incredible people. And it's with your leadership that this was what it was. So thank you for everything.
And when do we get to do it again?
I have 3 more bottles of wine to drink first, and then
I need her back for a second.
But it's a good question. I think we should continue the conversation in Slack and see what's next, because maybe the same format isn't what's needed next time. Maybe the age of conversation is something so completely different. I don't know. So we should keep an eye on the trends and the way the world is going and see what's needed in a few months.
We should, I feel like a nonprofit, like where.
Well, I'm not starting a nonprofit.
No, not that you should start one, but that, that could be interesting. I just think it's where a lot of them are going. And it's a training that I think a lot of people could benefit from.
Oh, yeah.
There's still this sort of thought that, it shouldn't cost a lot to put an event online, but Lucas, how much would it cost to rent the platform, really? Right?
Well, if you don't know the guy that built it, the actual, I can cut you a deal, of course, but it's $1 per day per person plus 60 cents per hour per person. So for 4 hours, it's $3.40 per person. So a full day is about something like $6 per person. So if you're charging people,
that doesn't include the designing and building the front.
You're able to design and build on your own.
You do it on your own. Okay.
And you can hire us to do it, but like Liz did it all.
I was impressed.
It's easy. You just gotta know a teeny bit of HTML and where to look for things.
It's like website design, right?
That's all it was. Just like
that's what I keep telling myself. This is all this is.
Yep, that's all it was.
We got free trainings. I'll put a link in the chat if anybody wants.
That would be really nice. I would love that.
So my last ask of you is to help me finish out the best practices document. So maybe over the course of this week, if you can go add in, I'll try to get a framework in there by end of day today. And then just go in and add some of your key takeaways that other people can take as they're creating their events. And then I need to make sure that I have all of your addresses. I know I have, for those of you that turned in your W-9s for me, I've got a mailing address on there. But for volunteers, if y'all can help me get addresses, I want to send everybody something. So help me gather them. Cool. Well, thank you again. This was incredible. And we're going to do lots more things together. I can feel it.
Yes. Hotties for life.
Hotties for life. You're all
yeah, where's
hot
our
now.
shirt? I just want a shirt.
Thank you.
Coming's
It's coming.
Hey, Nicole, real quick, sidebar, Nicole, you inspired me. I actually colored my hair at home on Friday.
Yeah.
Ooh, it looks good.
It's just, I had to cover the gray. That was really the issue. And I will tell you real quick that I called my stylist and said, I want to do this. And she would not sell me the professional stuff because she felt like it was a liability. But she told me what to buy at Sally's. She's like, this is the color you need. This is the brand you need. Go to Sally's. Here's what you need to do. So I did it. And thank you. You inspired me.
Oh,
yeah, it's so
no
interesting. I
worries.
just want to throw out there in the internet world. I was talking to my hairstylist on Thursday. You can't tell now because it's pulled back, but I was asking him about, all the people that are currently unemployed. We have 12 million people in our industry that are affected by these things. They want to look good for interviews. How do they do it? They can't afford to go to their hairstylist. And he was like, I guarantee you 90% of your hairstylists, if you have spent the time to build a relationship with your hairstylist over the years, will help you right now. And you can pay them later, or sometimes they'll just do it because there is no worse time to feel bad about yourself than right now. You have to go just ask your stylist. They're here for you. I was like, Oh, I got chills. It's very nice of them. So any of you watching, if you need help, ask for help.
And a
Yeah,
final
my mom
thanks.
didn't do it for me, but she told me what to buy, so I was okay with that.
And a final thanks to Anne and Danielle, who went above and beyond to get all the Zoom polls at the 23rd hour. They did a fantastic job. So thank you, Anne.
Oh, yes. Thank you for all of that. Thank you for everything. This was amazing.
Yes, you guys are amazing.
Love you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.